So we're here at actually the 4th annual GMed Users Conference. We're in Fort Lauderdale here in the nice executive suite. Lots of participation from the group I've seen downstairs in all the sessions. What's the buzz right now? What are people talking to you about? They pull you aside, Joe, here's what's on my mind, here's what I'm thinking about. What's the hot topic this year?
It's a brain split in two halves, the left side and the right side.
Okay.
The half of the buzz is how do we obtain these incentives that are put out for us, which are e-prescriptions, PQRI reporting, and high tech, and how do we become ready for all these things. That's one part of it, but the other part of it is how do I make my office better?
Right.
I'm using your tools. All of the gastroenterologists out there, or the majority of them, are also using your tools. What can I learn from them that will make my office better in general? And there's a genuine interest in understanding better practices, understanding operational flows, understanding, as I would call it, industrial or mechanical engineering of their practices so that they can become more effective and increase the quality of the service that they provide to the patient and their health on the long run. So physicians are still physicians. They still went into medicine to provide care to their patients, and they will continue to do that.
Right.
On the other side, you've got the economic pressure. So the buzz is sitting in between those two legs. How do I care better for my patient, and how do I run my operation efficiently and cash in on the incentives?
So with folks facing transition to EMR, some folks are coming into it from a standpoint of they've either had a poor implementation or a failed implementation, or they thought they were buying a product that was like an EMR, so they have maybe some negative baggage on that. You have other folks who this is brand new territory, clean slate. They've got the billing system, but that's all they've known computer-wise for however many years they've been in practice. What are the challenges? If you said, gosh, the top 3 challenges really that a physician's probably facing with making this transition, what would you say those top 3 things are, and what are some tips or some suggestions that you suggest, that relate back to that?
Well, first of all, there's only 18% of physicians that adopted EMR. So the big challenge really is going to be, preventing the gold rush, I guess. Because when high tech comes on board and when the first checks come out, it will create a frenzy, we think, of people coming in. So I would say prepare early would be the first advice. For those of you who don't have an EMR, please start thinking about it. Please start considering the next 2.5 years are going to be very busy for all EMR companies, and the good ones are going to be very busy.
So key point, start now.
Exactly.
Put together your window shopping list. Think about how it would implement in your practice. Just start the process, because to be ready at that first part of the incentive, because one thing that I think folks don't really, it's not clear yet, because there hasn't been enough conversation around it, is the concept that the incentives are on a sliding or a declining scale over year. So if you really want to maximize your ability to take advantage of those incentives and get the full amount, you really have to get implemented early on in the process. Otherwise, you wait 2 or 3 years to kind of things shake out and see what's going on. That portion of the money is not available anymore. Then you only have the last portion. Isn't that right?
That is correct. Actually, if you don't implement EMR in the next 2 years, it's highly likely you won't be able to capitalize on the full incentives. So consider that early. That would be my first tip.